Good morning and welcome to Life Stories with Dr. Gloria Crosslin. I'm Dr. Dennis Humphrey and I'll be your host today. And I have the opportunity of repeating something. Before we had an especially wonderful guest, Anthony Brown Jr. from Boston, who is known as AJ, and he was sharing with us his cancer story. So what I'd like to do, AJ, is welcome you. And then I'd also like to hear more about your journey as you not only found out about your own cancer, but what you did as a result of that.
Very good, very good. Again, my cancer journey really started when the first PCP, a hale and hearty 50-year-old, was told, no, we're not going to do PSA, a prostate serum assay, as part of your annual exam.
Okay.
Fast forward, I changed physicians, got the assay, and found out that I did indeed have prostate cancer.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I consider myself well-read and educated, so what I did, I began to interview with different specialists. One specialist promoted a certain kind of surgery where 5 robotic hands were involved. It was laparoscopic, minuscule cuts, etc. And I was told, we've done as many as 200 of these. And I thought to myself, you're not even on the learning curve, let alone far along it. I went and I interviewed with medical doctors who specialized in radiologists who specialized in brachytherapy. And that is the threading of radioactive, let's call them beads, around the prostate gland. And I was told by each doctor in turn that their methodology was the best and that the others just very specifically were not as good as theirs. I interviewed with radiologists who do what is called focused beam therapy, where the beam is focused on parts of the prostate gland. I interviewed with a physician who does laparoscopic prostatectomy, which again has very small incisions along the abdomen, giving access to the gland. And I had bunches, I had scads of paper and internet information about all these therapies. And I was frozen. I had paralysis by analysis. I did not know what to do because, again, each and every physician, urologist, radiologist told me that theirs was the best and the other was not. I lost a friend of mine to prostate cancer. His wife and I were talking. Naturally, I would share with her.
Right.
She said, you can't just sit and do nothing. You've got cancer.
That's right.
She said, I said, what to do? She says, call ICAN.
Okay.
I called the International Cancer Advocacy Network. Marsha Horn, the CEO, picked up the phone and just began working with me. She was impressed that I had done what is called watchful waiting.
Okay.
But it's watchful waiting as it should be done. Digging, investigating, etc. By the way, your listeners may know of Dr. Crosslin's mom.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
There is a program named for her, and ICAN, because she took on a huge corporation and won in the United States Supreme Court. So, quite the.
Well, those are a couple of great points, because Dr. Erlene Crosslin, did take on a large organization, and I would say what you did was really taking on one of the largest fields in the world, the medical field, and not to challenge them, but to find out more for yourself, so that you could be an advocate for your own well-being. So for our listeners who aren't as well read, what should they do? Should they come up against something like this?
Again, there is work to be done.
Okay.
And part of that work is reading and investigating. And if I'm very clear on the quote-unquote shame, or let's just use shame, of prostate cancer and all the things that we hear, or that at least I heard, that can happen to a guy if he has prostate cancer or prostate surgery. I have got to find out for myself. A friend of mine, prostate cancer survivor, we laugh and we say, some guys are not going to do anything because it's a lifestyle decision. And we say, look, It's real simple calculus. You have no life, you have no style.
Right.
So you got to do something. And so what Marcia did really saved my life. She said, with all this information, you need a medical oncologist, someone neutral, who will look at all the modalities and say, if I were to have your cancer, I would do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I would say to everyone, please get in touch with ICAN. Really, askican.org online. At home, speak with many physicians, speak with folks. And again, one of the metaphors we talked about offline, the car wash. You get in the car wash, you can't move left or right. Don't do that. A physician says X, investigate Q, investigate Y, investigate M. Do the homework.
Thank you. Thank you. AJ, we're going to talk more, but for our listeners, please visit GTV Network Fox 5 Plus. Hear this story. Thank you for joining us on Life Stories.